There's only one name for this bug eye, Lazarus. This bug eye is about as dead can be, and since Christ don't do cars, that pretty much leaves it up to me, with the support of you folks. Okay, BugeyeBob here. I have pulled the car out into the driveway because it's a nice day. It's about 70-some degrees here in Pensacola. And I am going to be working on a couple of things. I still don't have the parts in to work on the A-pillar for the right-hand side of the car. I do have them for the left-hand side. So I'm going to tear off all the stuff for the left-hand side, work on that. I don't think I'm going to get it done today. Probably won't get it done in this video, but at least I'll get a good start on it and we'll have a good idea what's going on. I am also going to tear off the channel that holds the rubber bumper that the bonnet comes down on at the back up on the firewall. That's all rusted out. I've got to get a new one made, and I was debating on how to tear this off. I think what I'm just going to do is I'm going to use a cutoff wheel, cut the whole piece off as much as I can, as close to the firewall as I can. I'll still have to go in and drill out the spot welds that are there to take the last little bit off. But what that does for me is that gives me a piece that has the right shape and bend to it that I need to have the new piece bent to. So if I take it to somebody else and say, hey, can you make this for me? I probably won't do that. I'll probably do it myself, but at least I'll have the original piece that I can use as a template to bend and shape the new piece to make sure that it's going to fit like it's supposed to onto the car. So I'm going to cut that off first, and then I'm going to start tearing apart the driver's side or left side A-pillar, outer and inner, and get that all cleaned up and take a look at what needs to be done on the rocker panel, the inside footwell. Yeah, rocker panel and inside footwell I think should be it, to get that ready to put the new A-pillar outer and inner in place. I'm not going to anchor down that A-pillar. I don't know. I may not anchor it down permanently to the rocker panel on the left side of the vehicle, because that rocker panel is rusted up pretty bad and it's also dented up pretty bad. So that's going to have to be replaced, the outer and inner. I've actually been considering, it's one of those things of I'd like to replace that while the car is on the rotisserie, but in order to do that, in order to get the car on the rotisserie, I have to have that side solid, because that rocker panel is part of the main unit body frame, if you want to call it that, of the vehicle. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge, and I've actually been thinking about taking some of the bed frame that you can see back there by the gray water heater and by the gray door. There's some bed frame sticking up there, and cutting that the right length and welding it in place along the outside of that rocker panel, just to make sure that that rocker panel is solid enough to support the vehicle if I start putting it on a rotisserie and twisting it around. Because right now my gut instincts tell me that that rocker panel is going to do one of these numbers or break up somehow. So by the way, if you need cheap angle iron, go find yourself a secondhand store, Goodwill, someplace like that. People are always, you know, it's like every time you buy a new bed, what do you get? You get a new frame to go underneath of it. And people take those old frames, especially like if their kids go off to college and aren't coming back home, then they'll take those old frames and they'll give them to these secondhand places. And I think I picked up those 2 frames, which included a whole lot of angle iron. Which basically, this is, I don't know, I'm 6 foot tall, so call that what you will, maybe 5.5 foot. Oh, it's 63 inches, I actually measured it. This is 63 by 1 1/8 inches. I don't know what that is in metric. If I'm a nice guy, I'll put that down in metric on the screen for you. But, I mean, it's good for temporary stuff. And if you go to buy that damn stuff, first off, the local steel supplier here, you have to buy a 20-foot length of it. You can't buy it, they won't cut it in half for you. You have to buy a 20-foot length of it, and you cannot cut it on their property, which means basically you would have to carry something with you that you could cut it with, then mount it to your roof of your vehicle, drive off their property, pull up on the side of the road, and sit and cut the damn thing. The steel dealer that I dealt with in Western New York, they'd cut that damn stuff for you. They had no problem. In fact, a lot of times they would have pieces already pre-cut where somebody would come in and say, I need 16 foot of this stuff. Okay, that leaves us 4 feet left over. They charge him a premium for cutting it. They charge you a little bit more than you might buy, the 20-foot piece per foot for, but everybody wins in the end. So, what else? I think it's time to suit up and start tearing into stuff. Be right back. Let's start cutting this shit off. Well, as you can see, that's pretty well rusted to shit, but it's got enough of both pieces that I can use it. I'm gonna have to check up in here to see if it's rusted out any of the firewall itself real bad. I might have to replace some of the upper firewall in there. All right, let's get to work on the rest of this shit. So, I've kind of measured how high this piece comes up, and it comes up to about here. So I'm going to cut this off lower than that, and part of the reason is this piece only comes up to there, so I don't want to cut all this up high. I just need to cut this down low down here so that this piece can fit in there like so. So I'm going to cut below this line. Probably have to trim it off some when I'm done, but that's all right. I'm going to use the cutoff wheel to cut this off, cutoff disc, and I'll run down the sides here to cut as much as I can, cut back here as much as I can. Might even cut across the bottom, get rid of that crap, change out the cutoff wheel to one that's a little bit newer. Or I may use this air saw to get in and cut the rest of the way across on things. This is all dented up and bashed up and rusted out, so it's no damn good anyways. There's my replacement inner, my replacement outer. They go together like so when they go on, so that's all beauteous. So, let's cut. Well, I don't know how the hell I'll be able to get that cut any further. Might be able to cut across the bottom now that I think about it though. Okay. That looks good to me. I forgot to drag out my air hose. See where I can cut. How about... Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. For less than the price of a cup of coffee each month, you can support this project as a member on Patreon. See the links in the description below. Alright, now I can work at getting the rest of these damn things off of here. So I am going to drill out the spot welds. I saved you the misery of watching me go over this. I spent about 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours going over this area with the needle scaler, and then the little grinder. Where the hell is that one at? Then this grinder here, and then this roll lock on the grinder, on the die grinder. So now I'm into this sort of stuff. Doing all of that exposed where all the spot welds were at, because it gives you shiny metal, and then where the spot weld was at, you have a bunch of dull metal or even paint showing up. So that's how you tell. This edge here, once it's installed, has to be crimped over to catch the edge. It has to be crimped over to catch the edge of this and to catch the edge of this. So, right now what I'm going to do is there's a piece of that up here that's got to come off yet. This has a lead seam here. I'm going to grind this edge here to get through to the base metal of this part, and then I will get out the torch and torch the rest of it off. And right there is the little piece that I just ground loose. So now comes torch time. See the lead drip right off. Now, of course, the beauty of all this is that not only did they take and lead that joint, but the goddamn thing is spot welded besides. Which means I got to strip the lead off first, then I got to drill out the spot welds, and then I got to heat it up to break the lead away from the spot weld portion. And if I'm lucky, it comes off. If I'm not lucky, it still comes off, just a little harder. broke that loose. Yep, it did. All right. That's got the captured nut that goes behind the front thing there. Gotta save that. This has been all beat to hell. Just a little short video to show you that I've got this right-hand side to the point where the outer A-pillar piece can go on, but there is a problem because if you look right here, you can see there's almost a 1/4 inch that this piece is smaller than this across here when it all lines up. So I don't know how I'm going to fix that. I think I'm going to have to try to, I don't know, bend this upper part out. I'm not sure what to do. I mean, I have this suspicion that even though this says that they made it for 58 through 61, that maybe in, I don't know, 59, 60, 61, at some point, this width across here was narrowed up on the sprites, the Mark I sprites. Because both sides are just about a 1/4 inch short in that area. It might be easier, I guess, to flatten this edge out and recrimp it since it is not, it's not welded to anything. This edge here, the lower part's welded to something, and it's going to look kind of funny if I do that. So that is that. Both A-pillars are ready to be taken care of once we get the rocker panels taken care of and these inner footwells taken care of. You see what happens is the water just comes down, sits where the windshield mount is, and then drips down inside and runs down inside and rusts the shit out of everything. Poor design, but it was done to be a cheap car, and the fact that there's anything left of it after what do we got, 64 years? Something like that, 1958, 66 years, 67 years almost. 66, because it was made in October of 1958, so 66.5 years. I suppose it's as cheaply made as it was. It's a wonder there's anything left of it. Okay, that's it for this. Okay, folks, that's it for this episode of BugeyeBob. I really appreciate you watching and hope that, like me, you've learned a few things in this episode. Please like, subscribe, and comment on this video and share it with others. You can help support this project by becoming a member at patreon.com/BugeyeBob in the link below. Patreon paid members get early access to the videos, and in the future will enjoy question and answer sessions and live streams. As this channel grows, future Patreon member benefits will include bonus or extended episodes, member names and credits, and the ability to suggest topics for future videos. You can follow this BugeyeBob restoration on YouTube and Facebook at the links below. Once again, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and supporting this channel. And remember that sometimes the most important job you can do is a dirty, thankless job.